Hey y'all, I'm Jeff, or Wisconsin Oliver Nut, and this is part 6 of the Oliver Collection Tour series. And in this one is going to be the 200 series, the 1600 and the 1900. And then I'm going to put in the crawlers. So let's get to it. This is our 1963 Oliver 1600 gas. 1600s had a lot of updates. 1600s were almost the first tractor with the tapered nameplate, but 1800 narrowly beat it out. And this was a local buy. My dad threw some paint on it. He put the cab on. It didn't have a cab. It was open station. He probably added the weights, I'm not sure. Since this video is on the 100 series, 1900 is here. I'll talk a little bit about them. 1960 was a very pivotal year for Oliver because that's the year that White bought them. And they probably didn't know where the future was going to be for them. But the 1800 and 1900 were the new series. They were going to usher in to the new world of horsepower. 1600s were built between late 62 to 64. One of 23 new products of 1963. The early 1600s had a 231 cubic inch, and they were known as a 1600A. And later 1600s had a 248 cubic inch, and were 1600B models. The gas, like this one, had 56.5 horse. According to the serial numbers and serial number cards, the first version of them was 62 and 63. There wasn't many built in 62 because they came out in late 62, I believe. The first version would have ended with 137709 serial number, and this one is 131832. So this would be the first version, so probably the smaller engine. Otherwise, it's been a good tractor. He added the cab for doing stuff like snow blowing. In summer, it sucks for if you're gonna plow because it's like a greenhouse. But you open up your windows and then you get pretty good airflow. Because this is a, what is this? A year-round? Yeah, year-round cab. You can open this, the back, so you can get a lot of air flowing on here. It does have a fan. It's got a heater, but I don't know if it's hooked up. I don't think he ever hooked the hoses up to it. Apparently not. Yeah. Apparently not. But it's been a pretty good tractor. Right now we run it on the wood chipper. Yeah, there we go, year-round cab. Minnesota. Had to put these brackets on, come out the back. I think the front has got like 2x4s in, yeah. And then it looks like it comes with these steps. I forget where you got the cab from, but it works decent for keeping the snow off you. Here is our 1963 Oliver 1900 four-wheel drive. This is the B series. So as you know, the 1800s and 1900s came out. They were the first one of this checkerboard style grill. And the old 1800, 1900s, the Series A's would have the checkerboard decal instead of this tapered nameplate. This one happens to be a B. Four-wheel drives came with the B's. The 1900A series was built between 1960 and 1962. It used a 453 Model S engine with 2 valves per cylinder. This one here is Series B, which is built between 62 and 64. Took over for the A. That had the tapered nameplate. The B and C series used a 453 Model N engine, which was a 4-valve head, different sleeves and pistons. A and B used the same hydraulic unit. The C used a larger pump. A and B had no pressure lube on tranny. That was new for 64 on the Series C. C brought full hydraulic power steering with tilt and telescoping wheel. Throttle lever moved to the side of dash. The A model was the most produced at 1,002 units, B at 757, and C at 741. A cool little story in the 1800s and 1900s. They almost didn't happen. The president of Oliver at the time decided to cancel the X89 program, which was 1800 and 1900, due to slumping tractor sales and budget cuts in engineering. The plant manager talked him into coming out for a field demo of these models. After seeing what they could do, the president decided this could be what saves Oliver. When the 1900 was tested in Nebraska in October of 1960, it was the most powerful two-wheel drive tractor they've tested. The 995 Oliver was the previous record holder, and PTO of the 1900 was 94.34 horsepower. The four-wheel drive models came out in 62, and 1800 1900 Series B introduced the four-wheel drive models as well as the 1600, and increased the drawbar pull 20 to 40%. So there's some little tidbits on it. So let's look at it a little bit. We got these different type of steps. This is more of a Wheatland model because there'd be a door on this side, like Chris's Herman has, like this, which really to reduce visibility for seeing the front tires, but I'm not sure what the purpose was. So on this older model, before the C's, you had a battery door up here. It's kind of a telltale sign of an A and a B. The throttle was here. So the steering wheel didn't tilt or telescope on here. So when they did that, changed it on to C, they moved the throttle from here to here. What are some other improvements? This filter here would move to here to the front. This would move. These seats. If you take the bus part of it, the bus seat away, this is original here, but you'd have to have that round shroud. But it had seat rubbers similar to the Fleetlines and triples and all that. And then they moved to the 50 series style after that. But the bottom part would be original. One cool thing on this one, as I said, there was no pressure lube on the B's till the C's came out. But this one, they had kits for them. And if you look right there, that was a kit. Because look where this hose goes. This hose goes over here and goes to this filter here. That might be a better. And this was a kit they offered. Now see how it goes right here. Right there, you can see it going into the tranny. And that was a way for them to make a retrofit. So this one's got the retrofit kit. So that's pretty cool. This was a fairly local buy. I think we were coming back from an auction and we seen this on the side of the road. And we ended up getting home. We thought about it. We went back. It was at an implement dealer. When we got it, it didn't steer, so we got it for a pretty good price. And we took one of the rams apart. Was there one or two on here? There's two. Inside where the shaft goes, there's a nut that's behind like the piston, and the nut was stripped out. So my dad just welded it, and we put it back together, and it steered. So that was pretty cool. I don't think he would have sold it to us for what he did if he would have known that. But then we had, my brother went to the diesel school class and went through the engine on here. There's a video of my dad and I putting the head on. We got the head redone after that because it kind of ground the valves to the right to the wear point, but left it. So we got the head done and then put that on. Detroit Diesel, they were leaning back like this. They had their unique look like that where they went downhill from the front. And yeah, pretty cool ollie, and every Oliver collector's got to have a Detroit. Here's our Oliver OC6. OC6 was built between 1953 and 1960, so right up into the 1800s and 1900s, and when white bottom. But 32.99 drawbar horsepower gas. I don't think a PTO or a belt pulley was available on these. 34.74 drawbar on the diesel. This is a gas model. There's 4 track treads available: 32, 42, 60, and 68. This one would be, let's see, 68. You can get different track widths. So this part, 8 inches was standard. You could get 10 and 12 inch also. I did do a history of OC6s on my channel if you want more info on this. But it was a 77 engine and an 88 rear end. They used different style seats. They had a Ridemaster. They had this one. I guess this one pogoed people if they went over a big bump. So then they went to a seat like this C46 has, like this, like a bucket style captain's lounge chair. This was an egg crawler, so you could, you got independent PTO just like the Fleet Lines. Hydraulics in this one, so you could do egg stuff with it. You could run a disc with a hydraulic ram to lift it. You could bush hog. I did bush hog with this on my channel. I like to use it in the winter for pulling trees. We were coming back from an auction and we seen that Oliver 1900 on the way back. So we stopped there after and we ended up buying that. But he also had this OC6. And mentioned it to my grandpa at the time, and he's like, yeah, you should have that. You should get that. So he ended up buying it, and then I just paid him back for it. Because he wanted me to have it really bad. Oh, this is pretty neat. Kind of floats on these big springs here. You tighten the track up right here. It pushes this forward more, and it takes the slack out of the track. Other than that, kind of a somewhat crude, but not as crude as what I've seen other ones. I like them because they not only an egg crawler for doing field work, but it's got the Oliver grills. That's what's cool, I think. They would be yellow like this. That'd be the color of them. Cleatrack. They bought Cleatrack in 1944. On the HGs, the HGs were painted the Cleatrack orange till late 1945, and then they switched to green. So this one would be, I'm assuming, part of like keeping it the construction color, industrial. I don't know. Alright, so here we have an OC46 built between 1957 and 65. I don't know which year this was built, but going through some of the info here, we'll probably get pretty close. Because most of the literature and serial number cards don't have the crawlers in, so I might have to look for an article on them. The OC4 and 46 were replacing an aging HG and OC3. They were around since 1939. The HG became the OC3 in mid-51. These came out with a Hercules IX B3 4-cylinder flathead gas, same as what powered the late HG after 1950 and all OC3s. That engine is used from 56 to early 58. In fall of 1957, a 3-cylinder Hercules diesel came out, putting out about 27.31 belt horse. In early 1958, a 3-cylinder gas came out. It was a 3-cylinder overhead valve Hercules Geo 130 with about 26.47 max belt horsepower. The Geo 130 gas was eventually replaced by the Geo 130H, which had a larger crank, bigger rod and main bearings, bigger oil pump, and in 1962 they added removable drive sleeves. The fuel tank on these were under the seat. We actually have the original tank for this, but that's how it came. It's rusty. We just got to clean it out and put it on. The transmissions on these were built by Clark Equipment Company. If Clark sounds familiar, they also built the mechanical front wheel drive for the larger Olivers, the 100 series and up, as well as the transmission for the 44 and 440. Gauge widths on these were 31, 42, 60, 68, and a 46 gauge loader width. Track pad widths were from 6 inches to 30 inches wide. This looks like maybe a foot. In the start of production, OC4s used the familiar Cletrac controlled differential system where both tracks are powered at all times, like this uses. And this powers it, and you just pull the lever and it brakes one side. The only option on the 4-cylinder models and the first 3-cylinder models. Most other brands had clutch steering to make pivot turns. Oliver was losing sales to competitors because they didn't have that. So in mid-58, they released the spot turn. This had features not found in competitors, such as being controlled solely by the steering lever and no freewheeling track at any time. The steering lever applied the brake and declutched all at the same time. Early OC4s were styled to look like the Super wheel tractors. After the 3-cylinder models came out, Oliver released a fabricated radiator and grill housing. Before that, Ware made one, but I guess they didn't fit very good. So this would be the Oliver one. Although my dad put these lights on, they're kind of like, we call them bug eyes. I think they're supposed to fit inside more. In 1962, Oliver moved production from Cleveland, Ohio to Charles City, Iowa. OC46 loader was built by Ware Machine Works, but badged as an Oliver and factory installed, they were built for each other. Like Oliver loader model number 46-3, Cleveland, Ohio. Loader has a rated lift capacity of 2,500 pounds to the full lift height. Breakout force was 4,500 pounds with a max lift capacity of 3,100 pounds. Two 440-pound counterweights are on the back, and those guys are heavy. Standard bucket was 58 inches wide with a capacity of 5/8 cubic yard. It could dig 10 inches below grade and lift to 113 inches at bucket hinge pin. This used a Hydroco front mounted hydraulic pump. You can see it right there. That's about it. I know the hydraulic pumps were upgraded at some point. I think you get like a 15 gallon per minute and then upgrade to like a 22, something like that. So this, yeah, I'll have to find the year. Maybe I'll just put it in a caption. Still has a spark tester on it. This is a 3-cylinder. You can see probably can't see it. I don't know how I can get you to see it. Well, it has 3 spark plug wires. The middle one's feeding the coil. Oh, My dad bought this quite a few years ago now. It was in a local auction in Wisconsin, and yeah, that's how we ended up with it. All right, so that is going to be it for the 100 series and crawlers. And I think I'm just going to do one more video because there's only two 55 series, a 1655 and a 2255. So I might as well just group them with the 50s and have one video and we will be done. And then I got a couple other videos between going to the equipment one. Do you like all of our tractors and equipment? If so, you can show me support by hitting that thumbs up or thumbs down if you didn't like it. Leave a comment. Consider subscribing, it's free. YouTube will notify you when I release a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.